Grand rising to all of my kings and queens doing tremendous things. I am Altitude representing Building Never Minds, the hip hop workshop, and I'm renovating minds one rhyme at a time. And in this episode of Soundcheck, it's been a while since I did one, but I thought it was prevalent to come back and do an episode, especially at a time like this. I want to talk about what's on everybody's mind, the topic of discussion, election. It came, it went, what to do next, how you should move. And let's talk about it from a biblical perspective. Let's get into it after the intro. 1. When it comes to this year's election, there was a whole lot of controversy around it. There was a whole lot of divisiveness going back and forth, especially when you're looking at it through a biblical lens. Me coming from being a Christian, considering myself a conservative value Christian, I would say that a lot of the topics of discussion and the two candidates that we had, every election, it always comes down to people saying it's the lesser of two evils and you have to pick a side, right? And they also say if you don't vote, then your voice doesn't count. So we always get the extreme left and the extreme right, and also those in the middle. And people will always tell you, if you vote this way, oh, how dare you? Okay, cool. I'm going to vote this way. Oh, how dare you? Oh, okay, I'm not going to vote at all. Oh, well, we don't want to hear from you because you ain't got a voice. Okay, cool. Politics creates divisiveness. And I'm not really sure where we went wrong or how far we came to where we started to publicize who we vote for. And we started to say, I'm voting for this person out loud, or walking down the street and how dare people vote for them. Like, relax. At the end of the day, I really, truly believe that people are way too invested in something they don't have any control over. I truly believe that you should exercise your right if you have the right to do so. A lot of people can't, if they're felons or if they have, some other extremist reason of why they can't vote. But anyone who's willing and who's able, I truly believe they should participate in the process. That's number one. Number two, I truly believe we all have to get to a place where we get out of our feelings, stop acting out of emotion, voting out of emotion, hiring out of emotion, falling in love out of emotion. We have to get to a place where we act on facts, figures, and logic. And in this election, this is the perfect example of how we should have acted. To the side that won, be respectful, be classy. To the side that did not win, be hopeful, be optimistic. And to those in between that were indecisive or did not participate in the process, become informed. What you do not want to do is allow something that is outside of your control in the grand scheme of things, even though you participate in the process. Ultimately, what you need to be controlling is your household. Let's start with that first. Everybody who is in the sound of my voice and is watching this video, get your household in order before you want to comment on things that are going on outside of your four walls. Make sure that you have food on your table, a roof over your head, clothes on your back. Make sure that the lights are on. Make sure that the water is running. Make sure that your place is clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Make sure that your place is presentable. Make sure that your finances in order, checking, savings, investments, your Roth IRA, your HSA, your 401ks. Let's make sure that we have our households in order. Let's make sure that we're operating at a surplus and not in a deficit, that we're not living in a mound of debt that is consuming us. And then we want to ask for forgiveness. We want to go into bankruptcy and we want to file different claims. No, you created the mess, you clean it up, period. A lot of us had to do it. This is no different. We are in a time now with this election where people are concerned about the economy, immigration, and what is going on between us and other countries in these pseudo wars that we are funding. This is not the time to put someone in a seat who is not qualified to do the job. What I will say is this: everyone wants to react and be emotional and be in their feelings and start voting out of identity politics and out of gender wars. That has nothing to do with this. I had a friend text me the other day. They were doing a temperature check to see who their friends were. And I was like, what are you talking about? She straight up asked who I voted for. I told her. And she said, I don't think we could be friends anymore. And I said, oh, really? I said, the same person who, when your ex beat you up and gave you a black eye and you slept on my couch because you needed a safe place to stay, a stress-free environment, as you see in the background, incense burning, diffusers going, lo-fi be playing in the background, but I'm the one that you're checking to see if we can still be friends. Okay, I got it. I'm the person that has lent you money to help you out in crisis. I am the person that has allowed for you to stay in my home when you had nowhere else to go. I'm the person that was there for the birth of your child, but you're gonna question my loyalty and friendship to you based on politics. Then I proceeded to go on and tell her that if you want to throw our friendship away based on things that are outside of our control ultimately, then you go right ahead, because I guarantee you that I will sleep well at night knowing that I was fine before I met you and I will be perfectly okay after you're gone. Because I stand in my manhood and I stand firm on the decisions that I make. Being a man, being a Christian, being a black person who does not waver in the face of adversity, does not back down from anybody who has anything negative to say about me. These are the things that we need to be more focused on. We need to be focused on our households. We need to be focused on our relationships. We need to be focused on things that are going on within our own sphere before we're concerned about politics. Yes, cast your vote. Democrat, Republican, Independent, who cares at the end of the day? Like, hold on, let me cook. Because here's the thing that I don't like, is that the things that are so divisive are the things that ultimately we can't even control. And those are the things that drive me crazy, because I'm the type of person where you can have a different religious belief than me. I am a Christian. Perfectly fine. As long as you're respectful, you're cool, and we can have open, healthy discussions, debates, and dialogue, by all means, we can kick it anytime. You're not going to change my opinion and I'm not going to change yours. But at the end of the day, you're a person who loves their family, who believes in their religion, and you're not trying to change me. I'm not trying to change you. And you're not out doing anything that is against the law. You're a law-abiding citizen. You have a job, or you own a business, or whatever it is, and you're doing what it is that you have to do to take care of your family. Hey, we can kick it all day long. And I think that people get politics and feelings confused. They get them conflated, and then all of a sudden they get in their emotions. You should never vote based on identity politics. You should never vote based on gender association. You know how you want to vote. You know how you want to hire. You know how you want to base your relationships going forward. You put the person in the position who is best for the job, period. If you're on a job and you sit down to interview somebody, you should know within 5 minutes whether they're perfect for the job or not. Do you know how to balance budgets? Do you know how to be a project manager? Do you know how to write orders? Do you know how to do certain things? Do you know how to deal with people with multiple personalities? Do you know how to handle business affairs? I'm not looking for bodies. I'm looking for minds. And it should be the same thing when it comes to politics. Who cares if you're a woman? Who cares if you're black? Who cares if you're white? Who cares if you're Asian? Who gives a crap? At the end of the day, are you fit for the job or not? This is how I cast my vote. And I think that more of us should actually do the same. Get informed about the decisions that you're about to make. Understand the policies that are in place, and then cast your vote based on what is best for you. And if someone has a difference in opinion, then so be it. Who cares? You shouldn't base it on feelings. You should never base it on emotion. Base it on, I'm voting who I believe is fit to do the ultimate job of presidency. And you leave it at that. If I hire somebody based on who I like, based on their gender, based on their nationality, their ethnicity, based on nepotism, all of those different factors, my business is going to fail because I'm basing it on who I like and not who's best fit for the job. There's plenty of people who I like that I would never want to work for them because they suck at what they do. There's plenty of people where I don't have their phone number. We never see each other outside of work, but damn, they're good at their job and they make my job easier. That was a perfect hire. We don't have to kick it outside of work. We don't have to go to the bar and watch the game. We don't have to go and hang out afterwards. But at the end of the day, was my job easier because this person was here? Yes, it was. That's how you vote. Who's best to do the job? And what was it like when this person was in? What was it like when this person was in? Base it on administrations. When this administration was in place, how was everything? How was immigration? How was economic policies? And when this administration was in, you do the exact same thing. You weigh the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the ups and the downs, and you make a decision and you stand on it. Never waver, never falter, and always, always, always make the best decision for you and your family. Because at the end of the day, it's God first over everything. Do you realize that most of these politicians, all of these politicians, I am waiting for somebody to acknowledge the one true king. Hey, both of y'all, it don't even matter. Kamala, Trump, whoever else runs in the future, say his name. Jesus, our Lord and Savior, El Shaddai, El Rapha. Say his name. Elohim, Hosanna, say his name. Jesus is King. Jesus is Lord. Holy Trinity, Holy Spirit, God the Father, say his name. At the end of the day, I don't base it on who I like. I don't base it on identity politics. I don't base it on gender. Who can do the job? That's how you vote. That is my message to y'all today. You got people in Congress that can't even balance their checkbooks in their own household, but they're running billion-dollar budgets. They're not equipped. They don't stand in their decisions. They can't make tough decisions when it counts. And all they're trying to do is hold a seat. That's why you have people who are lifetime politicians holding seats for 40 years. It's time to get them up out of there. It's time to change the age restrictions. Hey, after this one, after Trump is gone, hey man, if you over 65, you can't run, period. Hey, like it's time to change some rules that we have been living by for a long time. It's time to update some things the same way we update phones and apps and all of that because they get outdated, they stop working, bugs start to affect the performance of the equipment. Hey, we need to start monitoring who we have in office. Who are these mayors? Who are these governors? Who are your sheriffs? Who are your local officials? And finally, who is your president? Your vice president? Your speaker of House? House of Representatives, Congress, Senate. Like, let's look into these things. Do you even go to your town hall meetings? While you worried about who the president is, you need to be worried about who your mayor is. Chicago, San Francisco, Denver, New York. You need to be worried about who's running your city before you even be concerned about who the president is. There are so many things on a local and national level and On the federal level, legislative, executive, judicial, there are so many different things that we need to be concerned about than whether we need to be getting in our feelings about who won and who lost. Who gives a crap? Who cares? Focus on your four walls, your family, your faith, and then outside of the household, you can assist others. Then outside of the household, let's be concerned about who's in the seat. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't affect you in the slightest, because at the microscopic level in your household, do you make the decisions that are best for your family? That's where we need to start. That's where we need to begin. Let's not base this on who we like. Even going forward after this one, because this is the last time Trump's going to be in there. And then we're going to get new blood on both sides running for this seat. You don't base it off of identity politics, gender wars, and people talking about, oh, you just don't want to see a woman in office. That's not true. I think if Michelle Obama would have ran against Trump, I think she would have had a far better chance to win, because she's more articulate. She gets her points across. She's more firm. People like the Obamas. They're very popular. And at the end of the day, it's about what you say and how you say it. Who cares about who you know? Kamala brought every person out on stage you could think of. The Taylor Swifts, the Beyoncés, the Ushers, the Oprahs, even LeBron James, LeBron, even tweeting that Kamala was his vote. Who cares? You want to know why none of that stuff didn't work? And it wouldn't have worked on Trump's side either? Because no one gives a damn about the opinions of a celebrity who's out of touch with reality. They're not worried about the price of milk. They're not worried about the price of eggs going up or how much a tank of gas costs. They could care less. You want to know why? Because they're out of touch with reality and they don't relate to us. They not like us. We are not tapped into the opinions of celebrities, because you want to know why? They gonna all turn out like Diddy in the end anyway. Who cares what they think? No one cares. Now, when it comes to you being a phenomenal husband, a phenomenal wife, a great athlete, a great singer, whatever, of course, we acknowledge your greatness and we realize how talented you are. But when it comes to the opinions that affect the American people, your opinion means nothing. I hope that I articulated myself in a way that everyone could understand. It's not about black and white. It's not about blue versus red, Republican versus Democrat, left versus the right, liberals versus conservatives. I want to be very clear here. It's about what is best for the American people at whole. Take the feeling out of it. Take the emotion out of it. And make a decision that is best for you and your family. People aren't against another black person being in office. If they're educated and they know what they're talking about and they have good policies, I'm sure they'll get voted in. If a woman is educated enough and she has good policies and she knows what she's talking about, I'm sure she'll get voted in. Candace Owens, in my opinion, would make a great candidate to run for office, but she'll never do it because she's too smart for that seat. Who actually wants that job? Being a president would suck. Do you even know? Look up the job of a president. Like, that is not a fun position to have. Like, why would anyone want that seat? It makes sense for somebody like Trump, who's already rich, to run for that seat. Because who wants that job? Nobody. Michelle Obama and Candace Owens would have had far better of a chance of beating Trump than Kamala did. I think at the end of the day, people aren't concerned with who's running. They're saying, hey, what is your ideas? What is your policy? When you get in office, what are you going to do for us, the American people? That's how people voted. It doesn't matter about if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter about if you're black or white. It's about who can do the job. Why can't people understand that? Why can't people understand that we want a strong economy where our dollars stretch further than they ever had before? Why can't people understand that we want immigration policies fixed? There's nothing wrong with immigration if it's done legally. We encourage immigration. America was built on immigration. America was built on people who aren't even from this land in the original context to begin with. Nothing wrong with immigration if it's done the correct way. The same way how you can go to other countries with your passport and your birth certificate and your social security number and all of these different things and your visas, work permits, all these different things, how you can get to other countries legally and set up residency and ultimately have a business over there and buy a house in another country. If it's done legally, they encourage it because it creates a surplus for their country. We want the same thing here. I don't understand why it's so hard to understand that. Because people can talk about who they like all they want. Do you know that they called Obama, the person that I voted for twice, the deporting chief because of how many people that he deported? Look it up. But all of a sudden, it's a problem now. When Joe Biden got into office, the floodgates opened. We just want them closed, period. And then anyone that comes over legally with all of their documentation and their forms and their papers and all that, by all means, welcome. Welcome. But what we will not tolerate is our tax dollars going to wars that we don't want. Our tax dollars going to countries that are going to use our dollars for their gain and for our disadvantage. What we don't want is our tax dollars funding something that we have no idea where it's going. And then all of a sudden, when North Carolina gets devastated and ravaged by Hurricane Helene, FEMA's talking about they out of funds. How? How, Sway? But I digress. I don't want to get into the details. I just want to tell you, please don't let politics break up your households. Please don't let politics break up your marriages. Please don't let politics break up your friend groups and your circles. At the end of the day, if someone voted differently than I did, I don't care. I didn't text a soul saying, who did you vote for? I'm not going to call my friends saying, who did you vote for? I could care less. I could care less if they voted or not. All I care about is my household. What goes on in my four walls in my domain. And I make the best decision for me. Period. And that's how I encourage all of you to vote. I think you should do the same. Respect each other, love each other, make the best decision for you, and then move on and take care of your household. That's how we should operate when it comes to politics. Even though this is a music channel, we talk about music, culture, and lifestyle. And it affects us all the way across the board, across the spectrum. So what we don't want to do is alienate, and we don't want to push out people who may be concerned about these things, but we never address it and we never talk about it. That's why my music is conscious. That's why my music talks about faith, talks about family, talks about relationships, talks about walking with purpose. Because it's not about what we feel. It's not about our emotions. It's about what's happening in the now, what's happening in the physical, what's happening in the spiritual. And if we don't address it, then we're not doing a service to the people. And I want to make sure that I service everyone who watches this channel, everyone that listens to my music. So I thank you all. Thank you for listening to the music. Thank you for watching these videos. And thank you for being you. At the end of the day, the album is coming soon. Thank y'all so much for watching another edition of Soundcheck. I know it's been a while, but things be happening, things be going on, but I want to get back on here and start creating more content. So stay tuned for what I have coming down the pipe. But until the next video, I will see you guys when I see you guys. I am Altitude, representing Building Never Minds, the hip hop workshop, renovating minds one rhyme at a time. Peace and one love.